Okay, so it's gonna be a shop day. So I got to install the U-bolt flip kit. That'll take probably most of the day. I gotta do some grinding and cutting, and then I gotta fix a little spot on my axle housing before I do that. So I'm gonna try doing that, getting that done today. And then for the Raceline wheels, Raceline actually sent me a Raceline center cap. So do that, and then is this just American Racing one and everything that I had laying around, so at least be matching. So which the American Racing one does look good on it, but Raceline wheels need a Raceline center cap. So got that done and everything. So and then recently I don't know if I didn't mention in the walk around video, so I just been using off the shelf Rancho shocks like I installed on my my video before this well. And then I tracked down and had I tracked down their logo from 1970 and had stickers made. So the shocks are all period correct, so enjoy the little things, right? Okay, so I just got that all out. So flipping it so this will no longer be an issue. So now the U-bolts be up top and everything. Well, like the nuts will be like a how a sprung over rig is and everything. So okay, so I got the one side apart. Probably just do one side at a time, just then I don't have to support the Land Cruiser and the housing and all that where it's sprung under. So yeah, so I got this all out, so that will no longer be an issue. U-bolts, the nuts and everything will be up top now, like how a sprung over rig is. So like how my rear ones are. So get that done and take you along for the work and show you it until I get it done. So thank you. Okay, so this is the U-bolt flip kit. Let's see what we got. So here's the kit. So that's the passenger side, the offset for the diff, and then the driver side. So see how this sits in here. I gotta trim my bump stop, so they still have the same amount of travel once this is installed. So that'll go pretty good. I thought I had it welded in, but I guess not. So okay, so I had 3 inches of travel between the axle housing and the bump stop, and then this takes up 3/4 of an inch. So I just trimmed off 3/4 of an inch. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Just cut off 3/4 of an inch of the bump stop, so my travel should still be the same once this is all installed. So here we go. Keep on going. So I just cut this little piece. I'm gonna weld it in here, kind of make like a little gusset for my spring hanger. So here we go. Do that, give it a little bit more support. And then may as well, since I got the U-bolts out and have some room, add a couple of little pieces. So get that done and keep on going. Okay, so I got that gusset all welded in. Just gotta make one for the back side now, and then move on to finish up the flip kit on this side. So had a masker out. Didn't want to burn my precious stickers. Okay, so I got that rear gusset in, got the plate in, just got to put the U-bolts on the bottom part, and then be good to go. So just got the back gusset in, now I just got to put the U-bolts on, and then put the little skid plate piece on that the U-bolts align into, and tighten it down, and then the driver's side is all done. So get that all finished up and move on to the next side. Okay, so this side's all mostly done. Just got to cut the ends of the U-bolts off so they don't hit anything, and then this side is all finished up. So move over to the passenger side. Okay, so I got those all cut off and not even one hit the ground. We're doing good. So move on to the next side. So before I put my tire back on up there on the driver's side, I'm going to rotate in one that's a little bit lower tread, and then put the thicker one in the back. And then also got to rotate in my spare. The spare is 15 millimeter of tread. The rears are 12. Oh, sorry, the rears are 10, and then the fronts are 12. So get one of the thinner ones up front, and then rotate this bad boy in and go from there. Okay, so here's a little comparison. So there's that side all nice and low now, and then we'll be running into the U-bolt plates anymore and bending them and everything like that. So that side's all done, and then yeah, that looks a lot better. So that should be good. So move on to this next side, and then but first I'm eating lunch, and then I'll move on to this side. So got tires rotated in, well, 2 of them so far. I gotta take this one off, put it here in a bit, and then yeah, do all that. So okay, so just got back from lunch. I actually drove this to lunch, so just got back. I gotta take this apart, and then on this side I actually gotta cut this little retaining plate that keeps the U-bolts lined up and everything for when it's, you know, being sprung under. But now that we're flipping it, I gotta take that off so the new piece can sit on top, and then yeah, get that cut out and get that all done. Okay, so I got this all cut out and everything. I had to cut this part because the flat angled piece has been into the nuts for the U-bolt, so I had to cut that out. That thing's all beat up. So yeah, this is gonna be a lot better. I really like how that other side turned out. So this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, so finally get into it and hopefully stop smacking the rocks as bad. Okay, so I was thinking I was gonna have to cut that piece out, but they've designed it where it just slips right over it, so that's awesome. That's even better. So, which makes sense too, because it helps to keep this guy in the line and everything. I'm just used to all my stuff being sprung over and everything, and the U-bolts coming up, and then that just, it all sits together as one piece. So this is all new to me, so this is cool. So I'll get that put in and go from there. I gotta, like I just did the other side, I gotta measure my distance from here to there, and then, which I think it's 3 inches. So I just gotta put this in here and then measure how much I need. So then have proper clearance and up travel and everything like that. So get that done. Okay, so I ended up having to trim this a little bit, take a little bit off this shoulder so that that plate would sit down level. And then now I cut a little piece of steel, gonna weld in that little gusset so it matches the other side. And then this thing will be ready to go back together. Okay, there we go. U-bolt flip kit is all finished up on both sides, so that's pretty cool. Looks a lot better too. So I mean, yeah, it shouldn't hit as bad. I'll still hit them, but not as bad. At least on these ones, I think it'll glide over the rock a lot better rather than just being that piece of angle. It kept smashing and bending and getting hung up. Is there's a couple times I got actually stuck on the plates and had to winch off of them. So this will be a lot better. Okay, so U-bolt flip kit's all done, and then I'm gonna take my spare off, change the center cap, and then rotate this tire in. So get this one. I haven't run this tire in probably 6 months since it's all squared up. So these ones are all nice and smooth. So that's rotated in and go from there. Okay, so there we have it. I got the U-bolt flip kit put on, got the spare rotated in, I got the thinnest tire made as the new spare now, I got my Raceline center cap put on so it matches the brand of the wheels I run. And then yeah, that's pretty cool. Then I ended up calling them and asking them if they had a black center cap. So they knew for sure that they had a chrome, but he's like, let me call you right back, let me go do some digging, and the guy was able to find me a black one. So shout out to Raceline, so thank you very much. And then yeah, everything's going good on it, so move on to the next thing. Okay, so the next thing, so it's gonna actually be a separate video because it's gonna be a ton of work for me to do. So we are going to fit a rear winch in the back of my FJ40. So I have this old parts winch that came off my 94 Toyota pickup. It works great and everything, so, but it's too big. So, but if I cut a couple inches off of the drum, make the winch narrower, it'll fit. So yeah, so stay tuned for fitting a winch in the FJ40. Thank you.